and then things stop working. Perfect. Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel, Estelle of Imladris. I am Kai, I use he, they, and she pronouns, and you're back for another session of 1000-Year-Old Vampire. Before we get all the way into it, let's talk about the world and what's going on in it. We live in a time filled with cruelty, genocide, and hate that is blasted at us in a non-stop torrent, and it can feel so overwhelming. I want you watching to know that it's okay and very normal to feel overwhelmed. The task before us is to not let that feeling become inaction or hopelessness. All it takes is doing one thing, whether it is protest, donate, acts of care for your community, or other actions of resistance to create change if we all do just one together. One person cannot change the world, but many individuals doing one thing can. Thank you so much for being here with me today. After this video, or even pausing and stepping away during this video, I hope you take one action. That's all it takes. Don't forget that also care for yourself, your friends, and your family, and your community are fundamental to radical action and change. Be there for those in need in your community and ask for help if you are that person. Support mutual aid. Share when you don't have money to support mutual aid. Uplift donations and donation links and to organizations that are helping serve your communities that are currently impacted, as well as donating if you can, and taking other collective action like going to protests, writing letters, making phone calls, this incredible movement about censorship and the payment systems on itch, and the protest stuff for YouTube, talking about YouTube's major censorship overhaul that it will harm not only marginalized people, but people all over the world in general with access to information, and also putting hardship on submitting legal IDs. It's a mess. It's a mess. So do one thing. I just listed a bunch of things all at once, but if you, as the person who has to also live your life, wake up in the morning, feed yourself, etc., do one action to support those groups and those movements, that will be more than nothing to fight the overwhelm. The only way through this is with kindness for yourself, love for your community, and to do it all together. In caring for those right beside us in our immediate communities, we must not forget the world that we live in. We should fight for the freedom of those oppressed around the world, especially those facing genocide and violent oppression. I stand with the people in Sudan, the DRC, and all oppressed peoples of the world in their struggle for liberation. In this pivotal moment, as Israel has taken further action to occupy Gaza, I stand with Palestine. We cannot forget the Palestinians who are in an impossible situation without substantial support in this urgent time of need. Use !Gaza in chat on Twitch to find some resources on where you can send aid, and you can also take action by contacting your political leaders if you are able, as this has to end now. There we go. Oh, this channel, for all the various aspects, I can read, all the various aspects of community that I have the joy of participating in through tabletop, costuming, fandom, and more. I'm so grateful that you are all here with me live on Twitch, or in the VODs on Twitch later, or even over on YouTube, hopefully tomorrow, not today. I'm so grateful that you're here with me, telling stories and talking about meaningful storytelling and having fun playing games is what drives me every day, and sharing it with you all is a joy every time. So I am so grateful that you are here, and if you are enjoying being here in this community and in this education, or today in the case of fun, sad storytelling, please consider following, and if you are able to, subscribing. I am an independent content creator, and all of your support helps me continue to tell stories and talk to you about what you can do to make your stories more rich and personal. If you're watching over on YouTube, you can also click that like and subscribe link. It is completely free to do, and it helps me out so much. And if you feel like leaving a comment, You can also comment about what you're enjoying about Thousand Year Old Vampire, or if you've picked up a game of Thousand Year Old Vampire, tell me about your vampire. I'm so curious. All right, so last announcement, because I'm still so excited about it. The Home We Remember, a game about exploring imperfect memory and reshaping ourselves, our memories, and our communities in the face of a tragedy, is coming September 8th from Tender Vicious Studios. And the team behind, which is also the team behind Laurie's House, and Frivolous Bear Studio. I had the great honor of being the first architect for the Home We Remember and helping write the GM section and the game. It is a labor of love. It is such a joy to play, and I cannot wait for y'all to be able to at least get access to this 40-page ash can that drops on September 8th. So if you want to check that out or learn more about it, you can go to THWR, the Home We Remember, and you can check out the link to the Tender Vicious, not Tender Vicious, the Frivolous Bear Studios info page there, and you can buy it there from that link on September 8th. All right. Oh my goodness. So today we're going to be playing more Thousand Year Old Vampire, which means we're going to go back into Japan, but this time it's Japan in the 1860s. So if you haven't watched all the episodes up to this point, this is episode 6, I want to say. So you can always catch up on all of those over on YouTube. There is a playlist over there entirely of the episodes of this show. And you can also catch up with the VODs here on Twitch. I think that the first episode might be falling off soon, so go check that out if you want to watch it on Twitch sooner rather than later. But Thousand Year Old Vampire is a solo journaling TTRPG in which one player plays a vampire, which is me. There is no GM, and it is a lot of writing in this journal that I have right here, and telling a story just through understanding and answering a lot of questions that are in this book. So today we will be going back in as the numbers get higher in the game. So we are currently on prompt 54. As the numbers get higher, the likelihood of your vampire dying gets higher and higher. So every episode now we are getting closer and closer to what may be the last episode, and when Saku / Hiroki is dead, this TTRPG this actual play of Thousand Year Old Vampire will be done. It doesn't mean it will be my last one, but I can feel it in the game itself that we may be coming to an ending soon. So just brace yourself, because sometimes the endings in these games are vicious. With that, let's talk about some content warnings. Content warnings for this session of Thousand Year Old Vampire include vampirism, memory loss, violence, racism, which will be veiled, orientalism, which will be veiled, sexual themes and situations, body horror, imperialism, real-world religion, mind control, monsters and monstrosity, loss of agency, complex relationships, death of loved ones, ghosts and the undead, war, murder including a player character killing a non-player character, and the murder of a romantic partner in a romantic relationship, alcohol and substance use, historical systems of oppression, fire, and more. At any point in time, you can use !CWTYOV in chat on Twitch to read those content warnings. You can also just type in TYOV to learn more about Thousand Year Old Vampire, which I forgot. And if at any point in time this stops being fun for you to enjoy, I ask and encourage you to step away. I will not be offended if you step away from this show, because you need space from what is going to undoubtedly have some very heavy and dark topics in it. Yeah. And just know that I am also taking care of myself, and after the show, and even during break, I go pet cats and do a little bit of self-cool down from all of this. Yeah. I know at the very top, before we get into the game, we have some tarot card pulls. People want to see dice. People want to see a cat. We did it all. Okay, so I'm going to start with that, before I switch all the way over, we're going to do crows today because I'm in a tee-hee-ha-ha mood. That's my screen. That's the wrong one. There we go. Crows. So, Indie Wanderer. I give to you cute guys with all the love of cute little crows. So shuffle. And pull. Of course it's reversed. Why wouldn't it be? I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm so sorry. The Queen of Pentacles. I'll turn her right side up so you can see her. She's beautiful. But she does go this way. The Queen of Pentacles, reversed. The Queen of Pentacles is the mother who smothers or pecks incessantly at her loved ones, including anyone who crosses her path. She's overbearing and controlling in all situations, from protecting the nest to foraging for food. It's her way or no way. The energy at this time is fear-based and manipulative, and as a result, there is a lack of harmony. This is definitely a card of caution, to say that either you or someone in your life might be acting out of fear and doing things that are protective that may or may not be helpful, even if they're coming from a kind and loving place. And it can cause disharmony in just one relationship, in many relationships, in relationships outside of the relationship with the person who may or may not be feeling this way. And I would say that this card also encourages empathy by kind of explaining some of the motives and things like that for people who are acting out of fear. But my hope is that whomever this is in your life, you can see that it is done in fear and maybe even take action if you are able to assuage those fears. If not, at least know that it hopefully isn't done out of malice as well. That's very, for my funny haha deck, that's a very ominous card. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Redeem. I'm going to figure out why my decks are always reversed. I swear I even like straighten them out sometimes when I shuffle. I don't do anything too wild with them, and yet here we are. Okay, the next thing we have is dice. I have another set of beautiful Dispel dice that I have on hand. So this is Feywater. Ooh, I love this set. There's actually like really gorgeous swirls inside. Come on, focus. Oh. I see you. Our beautiful tiefling Aspen, who I miss. I will get my computer up and running enough to play more Baldur's Gate, but in the meantime. Unless you're talking about the other Aspen in my life, who I love so very much. In that case, it's not nearly freaky enough, I say affectionately. I love these dice, they're so pretty. So yeah, that is one of my favorite sets, actually. I do not use it enough. I might be using it for an upcoming game. We'll see. I do always make dice palettes for my characters, to be very clear. It's like a rule in my life. What's the point of having all these beautiful dice if I don't do that? And then lastly, I owe you all a kit. Switch over while I find it. Wow, this music is so serene. I took some really cute pictures. I'm going to show you, first of all, the most honest picture of Cat. Technically, it is both my cats, but only in the silliest way possible. And then I will show you a real cute picture of my cats. But first, let's be funny about it. I groomed my cats yesterday. It's a picture of my cats. It's just their fur, though. And you can see that Watson is strangely a white cat. It doesn't make any sense that that picture at the bottom, on this side, that picture on the bottom is Watson. And then the dark ball is from Rigby. But I'll show you an actual cat too. I'll show you Watson being a baby. Being such a baby. Oh, Any Wonder is asking if I've seen people needle felt their cat's hair. I actually have been collecting Watson's fur for quite some time because it's unusually soft. And Lena's actually going to spin it into yarn. Yes, so there is Watson sleeping like an angel on my sofa. He's so cozy in this. And it was like right after stream, I think on Monday, that he was just like, I live here now. All right, fantastic. Thank you all so much for all those channel point redeems. And for those of you watching on YouTube, you can always join us live on Twitch to have this kind of fun. But I will also now sadly remind you that I only do channel point redeems during right before break, right after break, and at the end of stream during 1,000-Year-Old Vampire to not break up the narrative. So yeah, that's where we're at. So let's play some 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. I'm so excited and scared, honestly. I'm genuinely quite scared about how today's session's gonna go. Okay. Oh, there might be some mic pops. I'm so sorry. Okie doke. So, previously, the vampire known as Hiroki, previously called Saku, but who has forgotten that name, returned home to Japan and did quite well on the trade island of Dejima, where where Hiroki made good connections at a time where a lot of the people from the Netherlands, where he had been living before then, were able to make a lot of business and trade in a otherwise locked down Japan. Now, while there, Hiroki got maybe too comfortable and would plant seeds, first unknowingly, but I think eventually knowingly, that would siphon enough of the life off of people in Dejima to sustain him. But then within that comfort came something else that made Hiroki change, as Hiroki's vampirism comes from being a Jubokko, a vampiric tree. And Hiroki became the tree and woke up one day 200 years later in a very changed Japan. The person, the vampire, stepped out from the remains of a twisted and dried tree and into Dejima, now largely abandoned because the industry that had lived there and thrived there had moved on. Japan had been forced to open many of its borders, and some of it chose, but treaties change. And with the change came an emptying of Dejima, the change of Nagasaki, which is right off of is what Dejima is right off the coast of. And finally, when Hiroki left Dejima They found the vampire that made them, Tatsuki. And that is where we pick up the story as Tatsuki begins to teach Hiroki how to be a vampire, about what it means to be a Jubokko. But there seems to be some motive behind it that has not yet been revealed. So let's see how this goes. First of all, we have to roll. We go backwards one, which we've actually already answered. So we go to the second one. Let's see how bad this is. $53. You have the troublemaking character at your mercy. Record an experience of forgiveness. So the troublemaking character that is referring to is the hunters descended from Greet and Bastian, who came all the way from the Netherlands to Japan in pursuit of this folklore tale that seemed to match the description of the vampire that killed Merel, Bastian's mother. They weren't wrong. These descendants came looking and seemed to be persistent in finding this creature, this yokai. And I think that they do, but I think what they find is not what they expected, nor maybe what they wanted. The passage of time means also that not only does Hiroki not remember some things clearly, their records are vague at best, especially because Greet at some point cared for Hiroki, and Bastian owed them a debt of gratitude. This act of forgiveness, of mercy, record an experience of forgiveness. I think as Hiroki has been learning, they are also remembering. Tatsuki tells the story of Saku, of a farmer who escaped fled, who had promise. And in that escape also gave Tatsuki the opportunity to spread the hunger. It wasn't even that Saku was a perfect candidate. It's that Saku was there. That sours a little bit of relationship they had been growing. They used to be drinking buddies. They used to be friends. But as Tatsuki tells these stories, Hiroki remembers that there was someone who was kind at some point. Someone who loved. He can almost see his sister's face. He can almost see Greet's face in her children. He can almost see Bastian and Merel and their descendants. So when they come to corner this creature, Tatsuki advocates killing them to keep the secret. Hiroki doesn't have it in them to kill them. Doesn't even fight Tatsuki, just says no. And with this band of Dutch vampire hunters, leaves Nagasaki for the countryside. Back to find this person that Tatsuki described. Back to the farmlands that are a distant memory that sometimes in the long sleep of day, Hiroki remembers. There was a river. There was a loving embrace of a man. Then he takes with him the descendants of Greet and Bastian. Tells them to not return to Nagasaki as it is not safe for them. Now I have to write an experience, and I think we have enough room to create a new one. So, this will be memory, I think 12. I think I moved 11. Right, our journal is full. Oh no, okay. I just didn't move 11. That's better. Memory 11. The hunters from Amsterdam find us, but I keep them from Tatsuki and we leave for the countryside. Maybe there I'll find this Saku that Tatsuki spoke of. Wouldn't that be nice? The countryside is different. In the 200 years longer that Hiroki was away, wars and uprisings happened. The world changed, even in Nihon. The shogun, now in their failing grasp of power, hold parts of this area with an iron fist as imperialists begin to rise in the area. They eventually are going to fight against Edo and overturn the shogun if they can. But right now, The farm. It's farmlands. Hiroki can't even pick out which one was his anymore. But there is a river. There is some familiarity. And there is a lot of sunlight. So, we must find a village, place to hide. As these vampires that he showed mercy to care for him in his mercy and help him find shelter. And we will roll again. Something nice happening? I don't know about that. All right, we go forward 2. So we're at 55. Ooh, interesting. Nice things keep happening. I am so curious. Timeless introspection manifests in creative acts. Choose a creative skill based on a lost memory. Yeah, real. Well, you're right. I went, nice things in my 1,000-year-old vampire? Ah! So, a lost memory. There are many lost memories here, but I think that there is an excellent choice available. As Hiroki has been searching for a connection to their sister. A name that they can't quite form, but still feels like a piece of him that has been missing for so long. And as he is in the countryside, he finds a shrine. It is still beautiful, like the memories that have drifted around it. The torii. The small wooden clack of prayers. The sound of water. This small village shrine. And then they remember. Among all of their many folds of old clothes and things, they have this omamori, a small token of protection. So they make them. They craft omamori, small blessings, a Jubokko, creating care and protection for the people that they are with, as they teach them how to not rule this area like the Dutch tried to do, but rather to be a part of the community. They teach them about the kami. They show them the forest paths. They speak of the torii, about how to pass through the realms of spirits. They speak of balance, and as they speak these stories into being, they see the face of Greet, of Bastion, of Minato, of Yuka. And in this moment of joy, Hiroki feels at home again. And I'm going to add this to the oldest existing active memory. Memory 2. The memory of Yuka giving Hiroki the omamori. And the memory of meeting Greet. Closure. I find the shrine from my dreams. And the Omamori. That the sister twin I remembered. Even when I forgot. Gave to me. And I learned to make them again. Skill. Protection. Oh, what a relief to feel at home, to feel like they have a home again. And Hiroki finds new ways to fill that hunger. At first, they were afraid that they would have to feed on the helpless. But as they explain their abilities to these vampire hunters, first one of them asks and then another if they can carry a seed. And the Jubokko is fed. And some part of the dead mortal deep inside of Hiroki is fed. Wow. And then time passes. We roll again. We go nowhere. Oh, I love this. Oh my gosh. Okay. You dedicate yourself to an art. Lose a resource, but gain back one lost memory. Let's go look at those lost memories, shall we? Oh, I'm so excited. The first memory is about Alders, who Saku killed on the ride to Amsterdam. The second one, though, is probably the one. We also have the death of Ren's, the journey home, but undoubtedly the memory to remember We will move. Can't get rid of that. Have to forget something. Ah, perfect. We forget fully, not in the journal, just gone, the memory of the time in Dejima stepping out of the tree, because it doesn't matter anymore. We forget the arrival and the fear of these hunters descended from Bastion and Greet, because I don't need to remember them, they're right here. And I will trade all of the memories of Minato, imperfect as they are, as I go and explore the rivers. I walk the fields. And I remember why I loved him. Ooh. I screw up my whole journal because I'm going to make myself cry just thinking. It's fine. It's very fixable. In the country, in the farmland. In the farmland, I dedicate myself to protecting my new family and remembering the one I had. And it is bittersweet. And I think it takes time to learn. And not even forgive, but just come to terms with what happened with Minato. With a monster that lives inside of this now settled and safe feeling vampire. I remember the fear that I felt that night. And I make an omamori just for Minato. I hang it by a tree. I go speak to it every so often. I love this game. And as the world around the countryside outside of Nagasaki changes, time passes, the shogunate falls, the world outside of this safe and quiet bubble becomes more violent and strange. An uprising, an impending new exile. They can't send my family away. Strange. I left Nikon to find success and money. But in coming home, I have learned who I am, what I am, who I was, what I loved for, and a new family that followed me all the way across the world. What if I just stayed? Kept the world out? Made this my home, an unchanging place of growth and life? And for a little while, I think I'll let that be the dream. We'll see what happens when we come back from break. Since I only have 3 minutes and cannot do another prompt yet. Yeah. Wow. Only nice things for the first half, which feels honestly scary. Wow. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out. For those of you, I saw a few people drop in that have not been around for these streams. So a little bit of what we're doing. Oh, thank you, Northern Gale. Get my water up. We are playing 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, which is a solo journaling TTRPG game. And you can play it by writing whole, like I wrote almost like a novel the first time I played this, and now I'm doing it as an actual play, which is a really good time. If you want more information on 1,000-Year-Old Vampire by Tim Hutchings, it's an amazing game, and the entire game is prompt-based. You roll some dice, and you make some really biting decisions. And you can go check it out at the links there. Also, there are community copies available on the itch page for 1,000-Year-Old Vampire that I think is linked on his actual website. But it's an awesome game. I really love it. And this is my second playthrough where I'm playing a vampire known as Saku, who is from originally like 1600 Japan, and now it is the probably getting close to the like 1900s. And time passes a lot in this game, and as it does, things get harder and harder for the vampire, but if you've only tuned in for the first half of the show, you would have no idea how gut-wrenching and sad the show has been up to this point. Yeah. But thank you all so much for hanging out. I think it's a good time to get up, stretch, get a snack, get some water. I'm going to go pet my cats. If you got pets, you should go pet your pets. And I'll see you all in about 10 minutes. Bye. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from break. We're back for more 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. But first, we have some fun channel point redeems that happened over break. So let's do some fun stuff first. First and foremost, wait, my list. I have a list to keep me honest. I have a tarot card pull for Alela. So I'm going to keep the theme of my Crow Tarot, but hopefully this time it will be nicer. Be nicer. Okie doke. Crow Tarot time. Let's go, little guys. I'm gonna give it a shuffle. Okie doke. Hey Lala, this one's for you. We have the Hermit. What a pretty card. Where are my major arcana in this book? Here we go. The Hermit. Keywords: meditation, time alone, enlightenment, and wisdom. And the element associated with it is earth. The solitary hermit crow, aged and wise, is perched upon a sacred tree in quiet contemplation deep in the woods. He listens to what the tree needs to say as the falling snow lands on the smallest branches. It is the tree that has provided the crow knowledge and is a symbol of subconscious mind. After his time of quiet reflection, he is ready to pass his knowledge to those who are willing and prepared to travel into the thickest part of the woods. In his mouth, he holds a lantern, a symbol of wisdom, to light the way. The soft, bright, glistening snowflakes represent cleansing and moving in a spiritual direction that will lead to fulfillment in one's journey. What a lovely card. Yes, this is definitely the card of fruitful, very in line with what we've been doing so far in this game today, actually. Fruitful and quiet contemplation and reflection that will hopefully bring you enlightenment and then allow you to bring that to your community to encourage them to do the same, which I think is very cool. Love that card. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that channel point redeem. And for all the channel point redeems today. It's been a good time. So that is the last tarot card pull for today, because they do take a little while and I like taking my time with them. So thank you for those two, and we'll do more soon next stream, I'm sure. And then I owe you a cat. I owe you all a cute baby. I have the sweetest little baby picture pulled up for you all. Look at him. Rigby just fully asleep in my lap. He was in my lap for over an hour just being a sweet baby. So cute, so peaceful. Who knew that my cat that also stomps around my house and screams at me can also just be the sweetest little baby angel in the whole wide world? Yeah, he's very cute. He's very asleep in this picture. He started to dream in my lap. What a good guy. Baby time. All right. Shall we go back to what could be now not as pleasant and nice as the first half of this stream? I think it's time. All right. Welcome back to 1000-Year-Old Vampire. We have last rolled 55 was our last prompt. Can't believe we got that memory back. I'm still just vibrating about it. 2. 57. Your knowledge of old things becomes a strength. Based on a checked skill, what knowledge do you share with contemporary mortals? Check a skill and create a resource. Damn. Okay, game. You're right. You're so right, actually. check a skill. It's time to finally check tilling earth. We've gone home. We've done all of the searching that we wanted to do when we left. And now, back in the same dirt, feel complete. And as far as resources go, create a new resource. Let's find this village. I feel like the village has to be a part of this resource. Just gonna do some quick research. This is a really ominous song. We don't need to be ominous right now. Okay. Let's see, where can we find a farming village near Nagasaki? An old farming village. Oh, here we go. We've got Discover Nagasaki, official visitor's guide. Let's see what they have to say. Yeah, the strange thing about Nagasaki is that it is very long. It's all coast, but there are farming communities there. Green tea tourism, yum. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. 2 hydrates. Stay really hydrated. So pretty. Okay. I'm looking for something. I found these amazing photos from this era. Like real photos of Japan from this era that I've just been staring at. Move the screen over so you can see it. Real photos. So cool. This one is in Kawasaki. So cool. But that's... I think we just get to name this village. I think that I'm being too literal again. Let's do... Okay, so I think we're going to name it Taigamura, which is River Village. And the resource we're going to gain is Taigamura. Taigamura's Trust. Woo! That's juicy. Terrifying. But that's the village that they've all been living in. Obviously the skills that we've been giving people in Taigamura, and also the strange small community of Dutch, now kind of retired monster hunters that we've called our family now for quite some time. That time giving them information has been about the black market, about Jubokko, about everything, because what's the point in hiding it if people are not going to hurt me over it? I can just tell them. And I obviously don't tell everybody everything. That would be a bad idea. But I think Hiroki is very giving with that information with the like closest people in that group. Let's see. Now we have to write a memory. And I'm full up. Oh God. Okay, that's fine. We will figure it out. For those of you keeping track at home, normally you can have 5 memories, but a while ago, something happened. Now I can only have 4, and it's scary. Okay. So we have to either forget or get rid of the entire diary that is right here. And make a new diary, because the diary is also full, I think. Let me double check that. In the physical book. Diary. A diary can hold, move. One diary at a time, must have at least one memory. I can't find, oh, up to 4. Yeah, diary's full. So I'd have to get rid of the diary. Terrifying. Though, something occurs to me. As a wonderful part of this story of kind of giving up the scary parts of being a Jubokko and giving up the fear. I think that is the right call, because it's not that I'm getting rid of it. The memories that are in here are fleeing Amsterdam from the war, the killing of Mero. That's rough. The black market connection back to Japan. The first memory, the one that we lost our name because the memory itself got messed up. And all things to do with that. I think this is the right call. So we're going to lose the diary. Not because we're getting rid of it, per se. But I think we're giving it away. I think we're giving away this diary. I think as time goes on and Hiroki starts to truly seek not necessarily absolution, but some kind of balance with his past and these people who were brought here because of the memory of Merel, because Bastien lost his mother. I think at some point I stop fearing what's in this journal and I give it away. It has the story of how I met Bastien. There's so many memories that I treasure so much. And I think it's time to give them away. we give those memories to this family, our family. The leather-bound journal is done. Then we create new records, new memories. I saw a question about the current time period. It is probably the late 1800s. Early Meiji. Resources. Leather-bound journal. That's plastic. And we create a new diary. How do I put this book? I can see it in my head. Hand-pressed journal. That's our new diary. Hand-pressed journal. We're going to move because we're feeling safe, which is such a mistake. Moving things. That's fine. That's all we can do. I'm going to move this memory of Tatsuki at least to start. And create a new memory of giving away the journal, passing down memory, and loving this village. Memory. Oh, I did paper. 12. Close enough. In Tagamura, I find peace with my past and teach my family about Jubokko, my failings, and their ancestors. Wow. And we do the next prompt. Two more. Oh, we're moving so much slower than we did last session, which is good. A mortal discovers the journals of a long-dead character or your own lost diary and approaches you. What do they seek? Gain a skill or a resource and create a mortal character. I think I definitely have to change this prompt just a little because I just gave away a journal and I think that it is so important that it stays in this thread. I didn't lose it, which is the language that they use in the game when you get rid of or lose a resource. So I did lose it, mechanically speaking. So I'm just gonna go with it because this game says vibes, and you know what? Vibes. I've named this descendant of Bastion and Great. Ooh, yes. I have to make a new version of my resource page. We meet Khan. Mortal. I think Khan uses they, them. A descendant of Great. Who what do they want? Who are they? Who loves Nihon? Mortal. I think Khan reads this book and at first has justifiable frustration and anger, as in there are records of the actions I have done. Things that me before the tree, before returning home, did without regret. And is hurt, but willing to listen, and we talk and we talk. They seek answers. They seek, I think at first, some kind of vengeance. But the person that they read in these pages is not the person that they find hundreds of years later. We talk. We drink, we laugh. I tell them stories of their ancestor, of Greet, this smart, charming, funny orphan who was an excellent pickpocket who thought about stealing from the finest church in Amsterdam, who dreamed of having more, and who took it, the side of black market tradespeople, the side of a vampire. I give them what I can, what I have left of greed. I realize how much I do miss her, how much light she brought. And we mourn together. We mourn not only great, but how time can change us, for good or bad. Gain a skill or a resource. I think I will gain a resource. No, that doesn't quite make sense. I will gain a skill. Huh. This is the most Kai core skill I could possibly create. I have to do it. Loving grief. I show Khan what hides beneath the hood, behind the mask I sometimes wear, the roots that grow. I show them the branches that hide inside of my clothes. And they are not afraid of me. Can we roll again? Oh yeah, I can actually... Did I write it? No, I thought about writing it. Khan. Confronts me about the murder of Merel and many other wrongdoings in my journal. But we both speak grave and remember. Instead of fight. Okay. Wow. All of these prompts have been so kind. Now we roll. Where will we go? Backwards. 3. 56. Huh. We've entered our eccentric old vampire era. You begin a fantastic construction that puzzles the mortals around you. Give just a hint as to its purpose. Lose a resource and gain the skill visionary. Okay. Visionary, huh? Lose a resource. We have the fishing knife, the omamori, black market trade, the hero, the tewasen, the trust of Taigamura, and our new journal. I think that the tewasen that we had brought over from Japan to Amsterdam and that has made the journey all the way over has seen better days. And while fishing one day, it wasn't even that the boat itself failed. It was time. And Hiroki came ashore, brought the boat, dragged it up, leaned it against a tree, and began to build. And instead of fishing at night for food that they cannot eat, they begin to build. We lose the tewasen. Tosa, wasen. Can't read my own handwriting sometimes. I'm struck. I'll put it there. By inspiration. While fishing. And begin to build around my beached old fishing boat. And I think it's very puzzling, and people have a lot of questions, but overall, it does not seem to be harming anyone. I don't think I see where I have started building. Not truly, clearly. But the thing about land in Nihon and time is that buildings do not last forever. The earth moves, the oceans rise, and storms come. And on the land where a boat now rests and a vampire builds by moonlight, there once was a kitchen window that looked out onto a field. And A home that is long gone used to sit here. We'll roll one more before we call it a day. Ooh, big jump. 7. So 63. How do you provide for your banal material needs? Record an experience about the time this went wrong and check a skill. This is also a mark of time passing as things get stranger and more complicated for this very blended community. We speak Dutch, we speak Japanese. We look like the tradespeople who used to come here and time has passed. The shogun have fallen. It is now the age of the emperor. There are plenty of wandering blades and soldiers. There are plenty of people who hate the Dutch that live among us. The world begins to close again. I hear that Dejima itself is gone. The little bit of the constructed island has been reclaimed and changed. But I don't anticipate how much the world truly has changed until when someone comes to town and asks for payment for protection. One of my family is cut down that day. I don't earn money. I don't pretend to be anything other than the voice of care and community that I have been now for decades. And whoever came to town, I did not see them. I was asleep. I could not protect them. But the world creeps in. We cannot just always buy goods anymore. Goods that I need to build. We don't make wood here. We have to trade for it. We don't have much paper that comes from here. We don't make these things. And the outside being so dangerous creeps in a little further. Check a skill. I'll check protection. A skill I learned in love, I then turn and use. I am roused from my sleep when this person comes to town. I fear that Khan, who came to wake me, had come because they wanted me to know, but I could feel that anger, that fury inside of me, and I act. Didn't realize how hungry I was until I was angry, and there was this stranger, a businessman, come inland from Nagasaki, offended that we would send this gaijin to speak to them. I tell them a story. At first, I think he believes that I am telling him the history of the village. But then I speak of the Jubokko, of why our trees are so white and beautiful here when the flowers bloom. I tell him of the ships that came all the way looking for a Jubokko. But that sometimes trees are hungry. And red blooms, they can bear fruit. They can also be a mercy. And as I tell this story, that hunger that has been quiet for years and years grows branches longer beneath my arms. It isn't flowers that bloom. It is vines that scratch looking for purchase as the Jubokko grows. A branch grows into him. I eat him in a way I have never eaten another being. He never leaves that room. And for the first time in at least 30 years, I'm full. I have to move a memory. I'll move this into the journal. Memory 11. Memory of Tatsuki finding me. And we'll make memory 13. There we go. A businessman comes to town to trade, but kills one of Bastion's, I can't write, descendants. Out of hate. Which awakens hunger within me. Within the roots inside of me. And I devour him. I think that's a lovely way to end what has essentially been a pretty pleasant and chill session of 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. Thank you all so much for hanging out. That was a joy. I loved that. Eat a guy as a treat at the end. Wow. Thank you all so much for hanging out. What else is going on? Who am I? Besides totally locked in on this story. Let's see here. Nope, that's next week. I can read my own calendar. So I'm offline for the rest of the week. I got some fun projects that I'm working on offline. Some stuff you'll see very soon. Tomorrow we do have a new episode of Lori's House dropping. That's the thing I was thinking of. Lori's House is a actual play podcast from Tender Vicious Studios, where I play the architect, which is the game master role, playing The Home We Remember, which is our forthcoming game. It is about memory, community, and the selfless act of self-exploration. Lori's House is centered around a house. And the community, it's a community house, and the community that then lives in it. And our player characters are all a part of that community. And it's a story about tragedy, healing, and learning who you really are. So episode 7 drops tomorrow. You should definitely check that out. We've had some of my favorite scenes in the last few episodes. So go listen to that wherever you get your podcasts. The episode drops tomorrow. And then with that, you can also check out The Home We Remember, which I talked about earlier, which is coming out September 8th, which is the game that we play in Lori's House that we wrote. And then next week, I'll be back with more Themes Right. I might be doing some other stuff unannounced next week. Some new stuff coming very soon. Got some Zero sessions, got some dramaturgy. I got all kinds of stuff going on that I think you will all enjoy when it all happens in the public place. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for hanging out. I'm going to go find someone super cool to raid, and I'll see you all next week for... We're in the 60s. We'll see how this goes from here out. What could go wrong? But in the meantime, everyone have a great weekend, and see you soon.